Well, a former NFL player turned financial whiz teams up with an entrepreneur investor behind the microphone for the Level-Headed podcast. Joining me right now are the hosts, the Brewer Group CEO, former NFL player Jack Brewer, and the CEO of MyPillow, Mike Lindell. Gentlemen, it's great to see you this morning. Thanks so much for being here.
Good to be here, Maria.
Thanks for having us.
I love this idea and that you guys teamed up. How did this come together?
Well, I would call it a divine appointment. I met Mike Lindell as we were both meeting with the president and going over some issues that were affecting the country. And, heard his story, obviously knowing him from Minnesota and seeing what he's doing, and just was honored to even be able to be in his presence. But, as we've launched this Level-Headed, this is really about, Mike's story and his book launch and his Hope report that's coming up. And so, for me, it was just, a true blessing to be able to just show the world and kind of be a part of Mike's journey.
So tell me, Mike, what the conversation is like, what topics that you guys cover?
Well, it's common sense things that we're doing in our podcast, but right now we've been focusing on my new book launching. It's What Are the Odds from Crack Addict to CEO, and I was a former crack addict, and that's what the things we're going to be doing. On our show, it's going to be covering we have a Hope report, which the book's going to help so many people that suffer from addiction and their families. And we all do. It doesn't matter how many forks you eat with, everybody's affected by addiction nowadays. But our show is going to cover just so many things from the common sense things from politics to addiction to everyday things that affect us all in our daily lives.
Well, Mike, I want to ask you more about that because you have such courage. Your book is What Are the Odds? From Crack Addict to CEO. You wrote this book hoping to help others. Can you talk to us a little about your journey and how you were able to make this incredible comeback?
Yeah, well, when I was, my family divorced when I was 7 years old, when divorces weren't common, and I was put into a new school. And I think I look back now on how that affected me. I would either show off, or I was I wouldn't really talk to people. I was kind of introverted, so to speak. With you don't get rejected if you don't talk to people. And then I got introduced to cocaine in the 80s, and I got hooked on that instantly. And I was a very functioning cocaine addict. Well, then, and I was always an entrepreneur throughout that. I had a lunch wagon business, I had a carpet cleaning business, and then I had small bars, which probably wasn't good for an addict. But, and then it turned to crack cocaine in the early 2000s, and it started taking me down. But then about that same time, I got this dream, which I believe was right from God, for a pillow, and I spent about a year developing and putting everything I had into developing the MyPillow, and people said, you're never going to invent a pillow, and you're not going to get a patent on it. But I ended up getting that, and then I had two things that happened. I was very much a full-blown crack addict, but then at the same time I was invented this pillow, and I actually walked into box stores, said, how many would you like? And I was turned down everywhere. So I did shows and fairs for like 7 years, and end up quitting on January 16th, 2009, quit all my addictions overnight.
Oh my goodness.
And it was, and ended up, I started getting my company back, and then in 2011 I did an infomercial, and
Mike, you're amazing.
Yeah.
You are amazing, Mike. Thank you so much for sharing, and Jack, thank you for your faith and for your strength as well. We so appreciate it. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks.
We'll be right back.
Thanks, Maria.